Have you ever been told you look younger than your age? Not in a flirty way, but in a quiet, curious way, like someone's trying to figure out what's different about you. It's not skincare. It's not perfect sleep. It's not genetics either. There's something else, something internal. Because youth isn't just a physical state. It's a mental rhythm, an emotional posture, a way of being that doesn't exhaust itself chasing time. Some people glow without makeup. Some walk with gravity, but not heaviness. They laugh without trying to sound young. They move without performing energy. And it makes you wonder, what are they doing differently? They live by habits no one talks about. Not hacks, not trends, but deep mental disciplines that keep the body relaxed and the soul awake. So what's the first? They start their days in silence, not scrolling, not reacting, not explaining themselves to the world before they've heard their own thoughts. They sit, they breathe, they listen to nothing. Because silence is not emptiness, it's alignment. They've learned that how you enter your morning echoes through your face all day. Tension lives in people who rush. Stress shows up in the jaw, the eyes, the shoulders. But calm is anti-aging, and silence is its root. That's one habit. Simple, but powerful enough to change your expression before your feet even hit the floor. And if that's what they do when the day starts, imagine what else they practice. Let's keep going. Another habit they live by. They don't keep retelling old stories that drain their glow. You can see it in some people, the way they bring up the same betrayals, the same heartbreaks, the same moments where someone didn't see them. They carry it in their face, in the eyes that stop trusting, in the mouth that always braces for a defense, in the tension that never leaves the shoulders. But the ones who stay young, they don't forget. They just refuse to rehearse pain that already had its scene. They've learned to close chapters with dignity, not because they weren't hurt, but because they won't let that hurt become their identity. They don't age from time. They age from tension. And they've stopped holding what isn't happening anymore. When you sit with them, you feel it. They're not rehearsing arguments in their mind. They're not bitter, not distant, not guarded. They're present, unfolded, breathing. Because the face holds the echo of unresolved emotion. Wrinkles don't just come from years. They come from repeating stories that tighten your body every time you tell them. That's a habit most never unlearn. But they did. Instead of asking, "Why did it happen to me?" they ask, "Who did I become because of it?" And then they let go of the rest. That freedom lives in their skin, their walk, their stillness. And without saying a word, their body tells a new story, one that doesn't weigh them down. So if something still echoes in your mind, a moment that clenches your jaw, ask yourself, does it belong to now? If not, breathe it out, gently, over time, again and again. That's how youth stays, not by resisting time, but by releasing everything it shouldn't carry with it. Let's move to the next. There's another habit. They don't perform to be seen. They don't shrink to be liked. They've stopped turning themselves into mirrors for other people's comfort. Because chasing approval ages you quickly. You smile when you don't mean it. You nod when you disagree. You stretch yourself thin, hoping someone might finally say, "You're enough." But the ones who glow differently, they've exited that game. They no longer need to be the loudest, the prettiest, the most agreeable in the room. They don't dance for attention. They don't dim themselves for safety. They've learned this. The moment you stop auditioning, your body relaxes. Your face softens. Your energy becomes magnetic because it's not desperate. That's the third. People who always want to be liked, they age faster. Why? Because approval is heavy. It's a mask that never fits quite right. It's smiling with your lips and screaming with your eyes. It's exhaustion in disguise. But these people, they've returned to who they were before they were told to be someone else. They laugh when they actually find something funny. They pause before they speak. They say no without explaining. And it shows. In their posture, in their skin, in their freedom. You think confidence keeps people young? It's not confidence. It's permission. They've given themselves permission to exist without apology. No more pretending. No more softening their edge to keep others sharp. And their body thanks them for it. Every day. So if you feel tired in rooms that expect you to be someone you're not, walk out. Don't burn yourself to keep others warm. Don't mold yourself into someone else's fantasy. Stand as you are. That's how the glow returns. Not forced, but free. Let's keep going. If this speaks to something inside you, don't scroll. Stay here. This space is built for minds like yours. Another habit they live by? They move at their own pace. Not too fast, not too slow, just enough to stay aligned with themselves. They don't rush because others are rushing. They don't drag because the world says slow down. They've found a rhythm that isn't reactive. It's intentional. Most people exhaust themselves trying to keep up. With expectations, with timelines, with versions of success that never felt like theirs. But the ones who stay light, they don't let urgency write their schedule. They walk, they pause, they rest. They know when to press forward. They know when to stop and sit in silence. And their bodies show it. You've seen it, the difference between someone chasing the clock and someone who owns their hours. You feel it in their presence. They're not jittery, not drained, not pulled in 10 directions. They're here, fully. That's the fourth. And it matters more than people think. Because the body doesn't just react to what you do, it reacts to how fast you force yourself to do it. Speed without alignment creates stress, and stress becomes fatigue, and fatigue becomes age. The skin tightens. The voice rushes. The heartbeat never gets a rest. But these people, they breathe between the moments. They don't fill silence just to avoid discomfort. They've traded urgency for awareness. They understand that time isn't the enemy, but how we carry it is. They don't overbook themselves. Don't fill calendars out of guilt. Don't commit to everything just to be seen as reliable. Their yes means something because their no is sacred. They honor their own tempo, and the body rewards that loyalty with softness, with space, with a glow that can't be faked. So next time you feel the rush, ask yourself, is this my pace, or am I borrowing someone else's? Then pause and adjust. Breathe until you're back in rhythm. That's how they stay young. Not by slowing down life, but by refusing to race through moments that are meant to be lived. Let's keep going. There's something different about the way they speak. They don't interrupt. They don't fill silences with noise. They don't explain themselves over and over just to be understood. Because they've learned, not every thought deserves a voice. Not every reaction needs to escape the lips. They speak less. And when they do, it's deliberate. There's a calm in their tone, a pause before every sentence, a rhythm that slows the world down just enough for you to listen. Their energy doesn't rush through their mouth. It stays with them. And you feel it more because of that. You ever notice how people who talk constantly age faster? It's not just noise. It's a leak. Every word burns energy. Every explanation costs peace. And every unfiltered reaction pulls stress through the body. But they've mastered the art of restraint. Not out of fear, out of power. That's the fifth. They've trained themselves not to speak from impulse, not to defend everything, not to entertain everyone. They're not rude, they're refined. They listen without waiting to respond. They let silence do the heavy lifting, and it makes them magnetic. Because in a world where everyone's shouting, the quiet ones echo deeper. Their skin isn't worn from arguments. Their jaw isn't clenched from endless debates. Their forehead doesn't crease from always trying to convince. They choose peace over proving, clarity over commentary, stillness over stimulation. And that shows. When you're around them, you feel it. They don't say much, but when they do, you remember it. Because intention carries weight, and weight, when properly placed, grounds you. You won't catch them gossiping. They don't waste their voice on low energy. They know their words are currency, and they spend it wisely. This habit isn't just social, it's spiritual. Because when you speak with care, you conserve something sacred. And that conservation shows up not just in how they talk, but in how they look. So if you've been talking just to fill the space, try stopping. Let the silence hold you. Let your presence speak before your voice does. The more you master your mouth, the more your mind rests. And a rested mind shows up on your face. They don't need to speak loudly to be heard, and neither do you. Let's continue. You know the type, always reaching for answers, not to dominate, but to understand. They're not rigid, they're not stuck. They stay soft in the mind, even when life gets hard. It's curiosity, but not the anxious kind. Not the kind that digs for certainty. Not the kind that interrogates everyone to feel safe. Not the kind that's always trying to fix, control, or predict. It's the kind that allows, observes, wonders. That's the sixth. People who look younger often carry this quiet openness. They don't pretend to know everything. And because of that, they never stop learning. And learning keeps the spirit flexible. And flexibility keeps the body calm. They aren't hardened by answers. They're softened by perspective. You'll hear it in how they speak. I wonder why that is. Maybe there's another way to see it. What if I'm wrong about this? There's no need to prove, just a need to grow. They read people with empathy. They read situations with patience. They read themselves without panic. And because of that, they age slower. Because control tightens you. It narrows your breath. It locks your muscles. It gives your face that sharp, tired edge, like you're always bracing for something. But curiosity? It loosens the grip. It says, I don't know yet, and that's okay. It gives your body a break from the constant need to be right. It lets you exhale. You ever see someone over-explaining everything? Freaking out over small changes? Always trying to get people to act how they want? They're not bad. They're just aging fast. Because inner control equals outer contraction. And over time, that contraction lives in the face. But these people, they're elastic, adaptable, alive. They don't chase certainty. They explore possibility. And their body reflects that playfulness. Their eyes hold wonder. Their posture says, "I'm still learning." Their smile says, "Nothing has to be perfect." That's how you stay young. Not by knowing everything, but by being open to everything. Let's keep moving. Some people glow because they don't carry venom. No matter how many times life bit them. They've been betrayed, lied to, left out, underestimated. But you'd never know. Because they didn't let it live in their body. They don't flinch when someone brings up the past. They don't tighten up when a name gets mentioned. They don't rehearse revenge in the silence of their mind. They've released the story and kept only the lesson. That's the seventh. Because holding grudges, it's like drinking slow poison and waiting for someone else to feel it. It shows in the lips that stay tight, in the shoulders that don't relax, in the face that forgets how to smile without armor. But forgiveness, not for them, but for yourself, is the ultimate anti-aging ritual. Letting go isn't weakness, it's strength with boundaries. These people don't let pain rent space in their body. They don't relive what already happened. They extract the wisdom and move. They say, "I see you, I learned, but I'm done carrying you." That mindset, it keeps their nervous system calm. It keeps their energy light. It keeps their skin from wearing resentment like a second skin. You ever sit next to someone who still lives in a fight from 5 years ago? You feel it. Their presence is heavy. Their words are sharp. Their peace is gone. And their face tells the whole story. But those who've learned to forgive, they breathe differently. Their presence lands softer. Their face forgets the war it once survived. That doesn't mean they trust everyone again. It doesn't mean they open every door wide. It means they chose themselves, their peace, their future, their youth, over a memory that doesn't serve them anymore. They walk away not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, biologically. That's the final habit. Not a ritual, but a release. And when you let go, you rise. And when you rise, your body follows. Let's close this with one last breath. You've earned it. They don't use products. They use presence. They don't chase youth. They live in a way that makes it stay. The glow people see in them, it's not magic. It's not genetics. It's not some secret serum passed down from ancient monks. It's the absence of tension, the kind of peace that's practiced daily, quietly, until it starts living in your face. They don't walk around trying to look younger. They walk around refusing to let life weigh them down. Because what ages us isn't time, it's tightness. Tight habits, tight emotions, tight thoughts. But when your mind breathes, so does your skin. When your soul relaxes, your posture changes, your eyes soften, your body stops fighting. That's the shift. That's the truth no one tells you. Youth isn't just lost with age. It's lost with anxiety, bitterness, pretending, and noise. So what if you didn't try to look young? What if you just lived free? Free from needing to prove, free from performing pain, free from controlling outcomes, free from holding what already left you. You'd notice something strange happen. Your body would start trusting you again. Your energy would slow down without fading, and people would look at you, then look again, and ask, "What are you doing?" And you'd smile. Not because you owe them the secret, but because there's no secret left to hide. It's all in how you think, how you feel, how you live. That's the real routine. That's the real ritual. That's what they never put in a bottle. So breathe deeper, live softer, let go of what doesn't belong. You don't have to fight age. Just stop feeding what ages you. Glow quietly, live lightly, and let your presence, not your appearance, do the talking. The people who try to shake your calm are the ones who never had their own. But here, you've found your ground. So stay, watch this next video, and keep rising silently. Inner Fort, subscribe, stay strong.